Well, all right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. It seems like that there's just a never-ending fight that's continually going on in the time that we're living in right now. You know, it's amazing to me. We keep hearing terrorists, 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 terrorists. Yet the terrorist has no name, the terrorist has no face, the terrorist has no country, and it seems to me, and of course I do know that I use the word seem, but it seems to me that our government deliberately has actually fingered the people of the United States of America as the terrorists, because we are the ones that all these laws are implemented against. We are the ones that have to comply with all of these rules and regulations that they keep passing left and right. And it seems to me after the third time of denying this thing, what in the world is going on? That why don't they just axe the whole entire thing? What is going on with those so-called representatives up there in the outhouse? What they got going on in their mind that they got to some way, somehow pass this thing and do it like they did the Senate Bill S-510. You remember the Food Modernization Safety Act? Why they got to hide that up under another bill if what they were doing was just so just and so righteous and we're seeking for justice in this land? So my question to you is, why don't they just axe and scrap the whole entire program? Why they got to continue to keep bringing it back? But I'm going to read to you what somebody has sent me here on YouTube. And it's coming from Fox News and a few other sources. And it says, title, Homeland Security delays launch of Real ID again. Now, published March 5th, 2011. States facing a federal deadline in May to launch a controversial program to tighten security requirements for driver license got another reprieve Friday when the Department of Homeland Security delayed for the third time enactment of the 2005 law by 21 months to January 2013. Homeland Security officials said the deadline was extended because most states would not be able to meet all of the federal requirements of the so-called Real ID Act by May 11th, partly because of the economic downturn and uncertainty about congressional action on the proposal to modify the law. Well, first of all, number one, you can forget about the economic downturn. We are insolvent. We are bankrupt as a country, so there doesn't even need to be any kind of consideration for such nonsense as this anyway. That's my own words. Back to the news clip itself. The regulations laid out a recommendation of the September 11 Commission that investigation of 2011 terrorist attacks create a national security standard for state issue identification cards and driver license to be used for federal purposes like boarding a plane or entering federal buildings such as a courthouse. The law aims to prevent terrorists from obtaining a valid driver's license and ID cards, but the Bush administration delayed the program originally May 2008 compliance deadline amidst claims that it was an unfunded federal mandate that would cause major disruptions in air travel and trample on American privacy rights. The program is estimated to cost $11 billion over 5 years. What's $11 billion over 5 years since we're printing trillion? I mean, if they're going to do the thing. The truth is, we ourselves need to actually pay attention. We really, truly need to pay attention to why is this thing being delayed. I mean, what's going on? Because there's really not too much outcry by the general public because they're too busy still worried about celebrating the Green Bay Packers beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. So there's something else undermining, flying under the radar that really truly is going on that has not yet been told to us. It has nothing to do with money because they've been printing money out of thin air for the last 4 or 5 years anyway. And they've been doing it ever since we got off the gold standard. So I don't know why money would be a delay or an issue right now. There is something else going on, people. And you better believe that. And I got my eyes and my ears glued to it. And when I find out what it is, I will report it to you. The Obama administration delayed a December 2009 deadline for compliance and tried to replace the law with a new program. You hear that? Obama tried to delay it, and he tried to pass a new program called Pass ID, which would have cost half as much. In other words, it would probably cost you $5.5 billion rather than $11 billion to implement this Real ID Act. So Obama's law is the Pass ID, which probably would have cost $5.5 billion. Don't that make it better? imposed few requirements, and offered more federal grants. But the proposal died in last session of Congress. 24 states are refusing to comply with the regulations according to the National Conference of State Legislators. 16 of them, including Arizona, Georgia, New Hampshire, South Carolina, and Utah, have passed laws prohibiting compliance with Real ID. Most of them citing privacy and funding issues. The other 8, including Arkansas, Colorado, Illinois, and Nevada, have passed resolutions opposing the law. Homeland Security officials did not mention the open revolt by those states in its statement announcing the extension. Implementation of the Real ID involves a significant financial investment, and despite the receipt of the substantial federal grant fund, a number of states are struggling to come up with the resources necessary to meet the full compliance deadline in these times of budget austerity. Now, what do you mean? You mean to tell me that the only reason why that this is not going forward is because the states don't have enough money? In other words, they still planning on doing this regardless of what the people say, the American public says, whatsoever at all. The only thing is holding us back because we're bankrupt and we're insolvent as a country. You see, they've got this thing planned to pass this thing through no matter what. My question to you is, what are you going to do about it? I'm going to tell you right now, I ain't getting it. I'm telling you the fact. That's just a straight up truth. The department said, additionally, some states delayed the investigation in new technology and process change because of the uncertainty associated with the congressional action and passed the ID Act. Now, that past ID seems unlikely to be enacted, the Department of Homeland Security anticipates states will refocus on achieving compliance with the Real ID requirement, the department added. House Republicans lashed out at the Homeland Security for granting another delay. What do you mean? Republicans? Ain't they supposed to be for the people? All you Tea Party people? Ain't your Tea Party representatives and all these other, because the majority of them are Republicans, aren't they supposed to be for you, the people? Then why in the world are they lashing out because there's another delay? Well, let's find out and see what is going on, huh? They pointed out in last week's arrest in Texas of Khalid Al-Siwa for allegedly trying to use a weapon of mass destruction as reason why further delay risked national security. Al-Siwa was alleged seeking multiple driver licenses to avoid detection. The timing of such delay is worse than ever. Texas Representative Lamar Smith, chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, said in a statement, the administration should not prolong the Real ID implementation. Isn't that something? Is that something? What in the world? You see, all of them are in bed together. Republicans, Democrats, Independent, they're all rats, especially the Tea Party. Them lying hypocrites against your will. They still have went up under the radar and they have succumbed to the pressure of Washington. It makes no difference who they are. They ain't nothing but grandstanding. People, you better learn real fast how to get together with each other and forget about this political process, because it ain't never been no good for us and it never will. Let me see where I can pick up where I'm at. By doing so, they disregarded the law of the land. Delaying Real ID unnecessarily places Americans' lives at risk and threatens national security. So they're trying to go on with their fear-mongering again, huh? All right. In light of the Texas terror plot, it's inconceivable that the Obama administration would further delay the implementation of the Real ID and not address its glaring vulnerability for another 21 months. Rep. Darrell Issa, chairman of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, said in a statement, we have a situation where we know we can take meaningful action to make the American people safer. No, you can't. There ain't nothing y'all done to make us safe. And what's going to make the American people safe is by them securing safety for themselves. And it's called self-preservation. And not depending upon you jackleg dogs and pigs who have sold this country down the tune for our own protection. We can protect ourselves, that's for sure. Yet for some reason the president wants to delay the action. I can't for the life of me understand why. By the National Governors Association welcome the extension. Protecting the security and the integrity of the driver's license and state identification cards is a top priority of the nation's governors. However, Real ID presents significant operational and physical challenges to states. The group said in a statement that governments have long said that the Real ID in its current form is unworkable. That has not changed. Extending the compliance deadlines allows states and the federal government more time to find solutions that work. As far as the people concerned, and I'm one voice in it, none of them is going to work. None of them. We don't want no Real ID Act. And it makes no difference to me or not, because I'm not going to get it anyway. I don't care what you pass. The group added arbitrary deadlines that only keep people from boarding and playing do not make the impossible possible. Well, again, like I said before, I've given us plenty of examples and direction what we need to do. What you need to do is start the B system. Stop playing the game. Don't board their planes. Don't use their travel. You're going to have to get used to it anyway, because with the upcoming economic collapse and the more degradation is going on in our society, and along with the spiritual bankruptcy and a mind that is literally insane, hey, we ain't got too long before all these riots start taking place here in the United States of America. So you better start fortifying the homestead. You better start getting yourself ready to stop practicing going to and fro and learn how to be content. And that's the truth. And that's the true straight way. I hope some way, somehow, again, that I was able to help you in your understanding.